everybody, welcome to America's favorite episode of Coffee with Scott. I'm Bill Leitner, the guest co-host today, along with Scott Hayes. I guess I should introduce myself, huh? I'm the Vice President of Levity here at ISC Group. So that tells you it's not going to be a hard-hitting interview.
All right.
I've been around for 25 years, and
You're only 25?
I'm around here for 25.
Oh, okay. Thank you for clarifying.
I started when I was 10. I'm 35. What I wanted to do was I want to keep it, like I said, light, and we're not gonna necessarily have hard hitting questions, but we're gonna continue a conversation we have over lunch a lot. But I want to start with, I've watched all the episodes, and you're actually drinking coffee today, but you guys never drink, and you never talk coffee. So tell me, latte, espresso, what kind of coffee guy are you?
Well, Bill, this would be just a plain old black coffee that came out of the Keurig machine. And,
you know what? I'm glad you said
exactly which flavor it is.
Parks Coffee,
There you go.
Carrollton, Texas. Shout out Parks Coffee for all you do for the office.
Are they paying for this advertisement?
I hope so. That's up to your team.
Hashtag, yeah, Parks.
And speaking of your team, when I agreed to do this, your team, I had 3 demands, and they met all of them.
Okay.
So there's a sizable talent fee. But my other 2 requests were, I got to control the content, and nothing's off limits. So,
Great.
but back to what how I kind of let in. I do want to continue with conversation that it's usually not over lunch. It's usually, over coffee. It's usually at lunch. May over iced tea. Shout out HTO. But the conversation revolves around helping our clients or helping individuals save for retirement, and or just save. And one of the things that I say, or we as an industry talk about all the time, is the small changes that you make add up. And I know you have a little different spin, that maybe we should focus on the big purchases too. So,
Right.
You want to kind of jump in and
right. One of the ways that we talk about it is in terms of creating a budget. Only hamburgers 3 days a week instead of 6.
Right.
To cut some expenses there.
maybe give up a chocolate bar once a week. Shout out Bedray Chocolate, Davis, Oklahoma. Exit 55 if you're going north on I-35.
Well, perfect.
Go ahead.
So when I'm talking about big purchases, do you have a car or something for me to advertise here?
I'm looking for a new car, so shout out Sewell and any number of the brands you represent. So
no, but anyway, seriously, the little things, sure, it adds up. But there's another school of thought that it's the really big, dumb decisions that you make, or where you can really make big mistakes. Getting in over your head with the home purchase, or extending credit card debt, even rolling a car note that's underwater into your next one, and so that balance, you just get more and more negative equity along the way. It's things like that that really can blow you up financially over a lifetime, compared to cutting out one Bedray, Oklahoma chocolate a week or whatever.
Right. And that's hard because a lot of our clients, we're not, and a lot of people in general, not just our clients. For example, I've worked here for, like I said, 25 years, and I bought 2 cars. So those big purchases don't come along as often as the kind of the day-to-days. And, we always joke we're not here to tell people to, certainly not to give up H2O or HTO. But the reality is that probably between those big purchases and the small purchases, there's room for, I guess, mindful spending, and that's where we kind of can have an impact on our long-term budgets. We have an advisor friend on the West Coast whose tagline has always been pennies on the dollar, and that's kind of what we're trying, I think, to do for people is help them find that extra small percentage increase in their retirement plan over time.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
What's your number one tip than for how to make their or tip for those small increases, how to achieve them.
Yeah, well, a lot of times, the plan sponsors are helping with that today with things like automatic increase, where once a year it just automatically will take you up from 4% to 5% or from 5 to 6 or what have you, and it'll help you do that for yourself, which I think is a really good plan design kind of thing to have. Otherwise, we'll often recommend that around a pay raise. You say your employer gives you a raise, and take a percentage of that and put it in.
Speaking of raises,
It's a trick question, right?
I know, but when I ask people what should I ask Scott, the number one question was, can I have a bigger office and can I get a big bonus? So
depends on how this interview goes.
Yeah, well, I said I've been here almost 25 years. It may not make it with this with this interview.
On our 25-year cliff vesting schedule, right?
That's right. No, and the auto features for retirement plans work, but not all plans have them. Right. So I think the habit of I gave a presentation earlier today, and the recommendation was, and the example we used was, if you start at 3%, you increase savings rate of 3%, you increase it 1%. Mm-hmm. That's 1 penny for every dollar you earn, and you increase it that 1 penny per dollar every year until you get to a 10% savings rate. You're far ahead of the game. Is other than increasing the savings rate, what can participants do to stay on track?
I think, and I know you talk about this a lot in client meetings, and that's creating an emergency fund. Because if you have an unexpected emergency happen, your air conditioner goes out, you blow a tire or whatever, and you have to put it on a credit card, or sadly, some people will raid the retirement savings because they don't have any emergency account. And so building that up, I know we oftentimes advise people to do that maybe before they even start saving in their retirement plan, because life happens and unexpected things happen, and you don't want to get in the habit of borrowing from your own future self, to pay for a current need that happens like that.
Yeah, no, and I agree. And to your point on, that ongoing conversation we have about big ticket versus everyday items, that emergency account can help keep you from damaging your FICO score, which leads to higher interest rates on the better your score, the lower you're going to pay for that car note or that house note. Mm-hmm. So, okay, I have one last question for you.
Okay.
And I had to work in an investment question, so this may have follow-ups. If rock bands were asset classes, what asset class would Metallica be and why?
Metallica, one of the most legendary and greatest bands of all time, I must say. You guys have probably never heard of them.
True or false, you were in a Metallica video?
True. Fort Worth, Texas, circa 1989, 90, 91, somewhere in there. Okay. A little fuzzy. If Metallica were an asset class, they would be mature, right? Because they're all in their pushing 60s now, I think. Okay. But they're still rocking it. So I would say probably large cap value.
Okay. I don't think there's a wrong answer. If I get invited back, we're going to have the same question. It's going to be Milli Vanilli.
Milli Vanilli. Okay.
But, all right. Well, thank you guys for joining us.
Well, I just want to say that when you were talking about our normal lunch conversation.
Oh, yeah, we can't.
I was sure it was going to be manic. What a good-looking, handsome man he is.
Oh, yeah. We can talk about that. Some of the other things to keep all parties safe, we can't discuss. I was told to encourage you to like, subscribe, and follow. Did I get that right? On all our platforms. I would also add comment, because I know you all want me back for another guest hosting experience. And given that this is going to be the most viewed episode ever, and I will be back.
You'll shamelessly plug it on LinkedIn.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And speaking of plugs, I can be bought. Shout out to my friend Tamika and Kevin over at Dallas MetroCare. They took me on a tour and gave me a hat, so they make the YouTube show. all of our other vendors, partners, clients, local
ads.
businesses, I can be bought. So like it, and they're going to put my link to all my socials on the video. So reach out, and we'll get you some sponsorship.
Thank you, Bill.